Hello and welcome to Gotham City Knights. This is a channel focused on all elements of Batman Miniatures Game of 3rd Edition from Knight models. This specific series is focused on giving new and returning players to the game the tools and information to approach their first few games of Batman Miniatures Game of 3rd Edition. I'm Kaiwas and let's dive into this video's topic. We've taken a look at melee combat, now let's take a look at range combat. Grab your pistols and aim them at your opponents. As with any good shootout, your miniature should have a weapon, a ranged weapon, on their card, and they must have at least one ammo charge left to use in order to perform a ranged attack. They must also spend their tactical action as an attack in order to perform it, and they must be able to also draw line of sight from themselves to the target. Note that line of sight in Batman 3rd Edition is limited by the effect of night, as every showdown is considered to be at night. Miniatures can naturally see 12 inches in any direction. Anything beyond that is considered to be in the dark, unless of course it is within 4 inches of a lamp post. Please note that any miniatures in base-to-base contact with an enemy miniature cannot perform ranged attacks unless another rule says otherwise. As with melee attacks, we now must start to assemble the dice pool. Please look at the weapon profile for the ranged weapon you're using, and you'll find a rate of fire, which is a number beside a little target icon. Take this many attack dice and add 1 strength dice. Unlike melee combat, the target of the shot is not normally able to effort to reduce the amount of incoming shots. Similarly, the attacker who's firing the shot cannot effort to increase the amount of shots. Instead, the number of dice rolled is modified by the following situations. If your miniature who is firing the attack has moved during this activation before he performs his ranged attack, you remove 2 dice from the dice pool. If you're shooting to a miniature which is in cover, you remove 1 dice from the dice pool. If you're shooting beyond the effective range of the miniature's weapon, which is detailed on the weapon traits, you remove 2 dice from the dice pool. If you're trying to shoot a miniature which is actually beyond where your miniature can normally see, under the effect of night, you can remove 2 dice from the dice pool. Unlike with melee combat, where the strength dice is the last dice to be removed from the dice pool, the strength dice is actually the first dice to be removed whenever any attack dice are removed in a ranged attack. This really hampers ranged attacking whenever you're shooting guns into cover or after you're having moved, because the strength dice is usually the most likely to hit. Unless a ranged weapon only rolls 1 strength dice in its attack pool, the attack pool for any normal ranged attack can be reduced to 0 and therefore nullify the entire shot. If a ranged weapon only rolls a strength dice as part of its attack dice pool before modification, any modifications to remove dice will only reduce the strength dice to an attack dice. Let's talk about weapon effective ranges. If medium range or short range is printed on a ranged weapon, that means there's an effective range limit. For medium range it's 16 inches, for short range it's 8 inches. If no effective range trait is printed on a ranged weapon, that means there is no limit to the range of this weapon. Now that the dice pool has been reduced due to the situation of the shot, let's take all remaining dice and roll to hit. Any attack dice which roll equal to or higher than the target's defense will be considered successful hits. Any shots performed with a strength dice will be considered successful hits if the dice roll is equal to or greater than the attacker's strength stat, or if there are traits like firearm or mechanical, there will be a different, much lower target for success. Just like with melee weapons, ranged weapons may have traits that benefit the user and help them to hit. These might be in the form of rerolls or just straight numerical bonuses to hit. You should apply these at this stage and then figure out how many overall hits were accumulated. Unlike with face-to-face melee combat, there is no opportunity to block successful hits, and at this point any successful hits accumulated will deal damage. Again, damage is dealt by the damage profile of the weapon used. So for example, if a 3 blood damage assault rifle accumulates 2 hits, That will deal 6 blood damage to the target. Similarly to melee combat, a natural roll of 6 on the strength dice is a critical hit. The effect of a critical hit is normally to knock down the defending miniature, unless the weapon profile of the miniature performing the critical hit has a special critical hit effect that you can apply instead. As with any rules in a miniatures game, there's always exceptions, and for range combat in Batman, it's the template weapons, the expansive and explosive templates. These run by a slightly different rule set, and I'll try to explain them to you in a later video. Well folks, that's range combat in a nutshell. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and you'll be able to put it to good use on the tabletop in the future anytime soon. All that's left to say is thank you for watching this short video. If you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. Keep watching the series to learn about all the elements of Batman Miniatures Game 3rd Edition. And if you have friends interested in the game, please consider sharing this series to them. If you want to see us put all this into action, check out our Battle Report series, where we usually post a battle report between myself and my colleague Salandra once every 2 weeks. We also hope to start putting out tactics, strategy and miniature spotlight videos to continue the discussion and showcase this great game. Don't forget to like and subscribe to keep up with our content, and we'll see you next time.